You're listening to the Bar Business Podcast, where every week, your host, Chris Schneider, brings you information, strategies, and news on the bar industry, giving you the competitive edge you need to start working on your bar rather than in your bar.
Hi, welcome to the second episode of the Bar Business Podcast. My name is Chris Schneider. Today, we're going to be diving into mindset and really talking about how to develop a mindset that will set you up to be a world-class establishment. And if you listen to last week's podcast where we kind of introduced things, when I say world-class, I don't mean, you have to be fancy. I don't mean anything like that. By world-class, I mean absolutely optimizing every opportunity you have to both serve your customers and your staff, and also to put money in your pocket. So when we're talking about mindset is the first component of my MCC framework, which is mindset, concept, and culture. It's the three things you must have right in order to be successful in the bar business. And mindset is important. And mindset really comes down to everything you do, everything you think, how you view everything in your business. And it's really hard to understate how important developing a mindset that's going to set you up for success really is. I think a lot of people want to focus on concept. They want to focus on the nuts and bolts. They want to say, well, if I serve this great food, I'll be successful. Well, if I have a great team, I will be successful. And yes, those things are hideously important to long-term success. However, if you do not have the right mindset as an owner, if you are not setting your team up for success, if you are not setting your mind up for success, if you are not setting your life outside of work for success, you really don't stand a chance. And you can make that work. A lot of people do. But again, our goal here is to move you from the average, what everyone else is doing, and talk about how you can become world class, how you can become a top level operator. And I promise you 100% the key, the most important piece to being an amazing operator, to running an amazing establishment that puts money in your pocket, is your mindset, period. Mindset means everything. That's our first reason why it's important. The second point I will make on why your mindset is absolutely crucial, and this is more about your personal mindset when I say this. You can't run a business well if you're not at peace with yourself. You have to have a mindset that allows you to be successful. You have to have a mindset where you are at peace with yourself. If you're in conflict with yourself constantly, if you cannot get your personal life in order, there's no way, there's no chance in the world you can get your business life in order. So mindset is critically important. It must happen. And it really is about that piece. It's about putting yourself in order to get your business in order. So as we go through and talk about mindset, we're going to spend a little bit of time here talking about ways to optimize your personal mindset, and then talk a little bit about how to optimize your business mindset and really how to establish what that business mindset is. When we're talking about your personal mindset, there are some phenomenal books out there that you can get. And, if you want some bar-focused, restaurant-focused ones, Donald Burns, who's the restaurant coach, he has a great book on mindset that I highly recommend. John Taffer has a book all about avoiding excuses that hold you back, and those are great. You can go read Atomic Habits. There are tons of books out there that really talk about personal mindset. But my favorite one of all of them, if I'm real honest, is Simon Sinek's It Starts With Why. And that book is important in that you have to understand why you are doing things. Every good mindset, every good thing you will do in your business and in your life starts at why you're doing it. It doesn't matter as much how you do things or what you do. It's the why behind it all that drives you. It's the why in your head that is going to really build and develop who you become. So one of the first things you have to do when you're thinking about optimizing your own mindset and how to set yourself up for success is you have to answer the question, why am I doing this? Why do I want to be this way? why is this business where I want to spend my time? And obviously that's going to differ from person to person. I will tell you my personal why, as I have started out on this podcast, and as I've written the book that I'm currently working on about bar business. My personal why is to help other people run world-class establishments. My why is to take the knowledge in my head and the things I've learned over 20 some years in hospitality and help other people achieve success. And so my driving force when I wake up in the morning is, what can I do that will help other people make money and be successful? So now I'll give you kind of an altruistic why, and it's kind of abstract. But it is the driving force as I think about every business decision I make, as I think about all the personal decisions I make. Is this helping me towards this end existential why that I have determined for myself? So again, first step, figure out why you're doing what you're doing. Focus on that why and relate everything back to that why. You'll hear me talk about, next week, we're going to talk concept, right? In our mindset, concept, culture, framework, concept second. So that comes in the second week of this 3-part kind of series we're doing on the podcast. But with concept, I always say, make sure everything you do in your bar ties back to your concept. And, your glassware should reflect your concept. Your decor should reflect your concept. It has to be cohesive. And I bring that up because that's a little bit of an easier thing to understand than saying your mindset needs to be cohesive. But once you know your why, you can relate everything you're involved in, everything you do with your business, everything you do personally, back to that why. And it may seem like it's a little single-minded, it's a little driven, and granted, it is. But that's okay. And sometimes that single-mindedness, that drivenness, is what separates those who dabble in things and those who become leaders in things. Matter of fact, I shouldn't say sometimes, I should say always. So figure out your why and be singularly driven in everything you do to reflecting on that why. Another thing you need to do in your personal life, and this one was a huge struggle for me, and it is a huge struggle for everyone in the restaurant and bar business, largely because we stay up way late, we have bad habits. I think everyone in the bar business can admit we probably drink a little bit more than we should. A lot of us still smoke even though we shouldn't, or vape. And the environment we're in is not always a healthy one, but one of the most essential things you can do to keep your mindset right, day in and day out, is to develop a routine and stick to it. Try to go to sleep at the same time roughly every night. Try to wake up at the same time every morning. Now, if you own a bar, maybe your bedtime is 7 a.m. and your time you wake up is 2 p.m., right? Just because you have a routine doesn't mean it has to be a routine that seems normal to the rest of the world. Being in hospitality, being in the bar business, that's often not going to be the case. But it's very important to build a routine and stick to it. That routine provides stability in your life and allows you to focus on what's important, to focus on that why. It also just kind of normalizes things. It keeps you on a path. It keeps you moving in the right direction. I will tell you, after leaving the bar business, I've been involved in a few things, some consulting, obviously writing a book, getting ready to launch this podcast, and with a lot of diversion activities, and especially without having a bar. The bar kept me more organized than I am normally, because with a bar, I had employees, I had guests, I had things I had to look after that had time frames where they had to happen. I wasn't really able to slack off or not do things when I needed to do them. Being out on my own now and working on books and podcasts and some of these creative efforts and really not working for or with anyone else, I don't have that same luxury of having time frames imposed on me. By having a routine, it makes it more structured. It gives me the ability every day to get up and go and to know where to focus my time. Now, obviously, if you own a bar, you don't have that same concern that I do. You already have some of that structure there. But even so, finding a routine and sticking to it is hugely beneficial in maintaining a positive mindset and being productive day to day. Another thing that you need to do in order to really optimize your mindset personally is to exercise your mind and body. And what I mean by that is, obviously, physical exercise is important. A lot of times in the bar business, we're actually getting pretty good physical exercise at work, right? We're running around the floor, we're moving kegs, we're moving cases of food, we're lifting cases of booze, we're moving things on top of shelves, off of shelves, from the back to the front, from the front to the back. So from a physical exercise point, sure. At work, do we get some of that? Absolutely. But also exercising before work and having that as part of your routine to move your body is very helpful. And I think oftentimes in modern society, that gets downplayed. And I know not a lot of us like to work out. I will admit, I definitely am not a fan of working out. I am definitely not a fan of any of that. But it is essential to maintaining a mindset and to keeping yourself on a path where you have the right mindset and the right setup in your life to make yourself successful, to exercise your body. And just as importantly as exercising your body, you need to exercise your mind. That is, in my opinion, more fun. Now, I tend to do both at the same time, right? You can work out and listen to a podcast or an audiobook and really get that exercising of your mind and body simultaneously. Makes it a little easier sometimes to fit into the routine because you're taking less overall time in your day. But reading, learning, developing your skills is always important. And a lot of times in the bar business, I feel like, especially in the bar business, we get a little bit apathetic towards learning more. We get a little bit set in our ways. And frequently, folks in our business really are not trying to expand their knowledge and grow. Part of that is once you have an established bar, once you've been doing it for years, it's really, really easy to do the same stuff day in and day out. But that really doesn't work. That doesn't develop you. That doesn't keep you at a world-class level. And even if you were 20 years ago, the best bar anybody had ever seen in your town, and you were special and different and new and had everything going for you, what worked 20 years ago doesn't really work today. So that's true in business. It's also true about you personally. You have to constantly grow and develop yourself. You have to exercise your mind. You have to learn more. And this leads me to my next point on mindset, which is continuous improvement of yourself. Now, you will hear me talk so much as we move forward about continuous improvement because I really do believe in this concept in business and in life that continuous improvement builds over time, right? A 1% change every day leads to huge results over the course of a year and absolutely astronomical changes over the course of a decade. When I'm talking in the future about improving your business a little bit every day, about continuously improving what you do, that also applies to you as a person. If you can continually improve yourself and continually improve your mindset and continually improve the way you look at the world, you will grow, and you will grow a lot. And it will give you the ability to have new opportunities. It will give you the ability to optimize your life in a way that works best for you. Now, one more note on your personal mindset. This all takes time and work. One of the hardest things any of us can do in life is to try to better ourselves. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the biggest reasons is habits. Something like 70% of what we do day to day is habitual. It's not like you're making a choice to do most things you do most days. So to overcome those habits, to change your habits, to continuously improve yourself in spite of those habits takes a lot of time and effort. Nothing, not a business, and definitely not in your personal life, does anything move in a constant, straight upwards trajectory. Right? You're going to move forward. You're going to move back. There will be better days. There will be worse days, always. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have the mindset that today I'm going to be better than I was yesterday. Today I'm going to take some risks I didn't take before. Today I am going to build upon the foundation I already have to better myself and to be more at peace with myself in order to be able to better my business and better my family. You will win. You will always win if you take that type of mindset. Now, mindset aside real quick, I want to take one step back and talk a little bit about work-life balance, because I think a lot of us in the hospitality industry, and I know I have definitely been guilty of this in the past, a lot of us work more than we should. And in hospitality, it's a very easy trap, especially as an owner. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help to work too much. It does not help to ignore your friends and family for your business. In fact, ignoring your friends and family for your business is a terrible, terrible move to make. And of course, I say that as someone who has ignored my friends and family for my business multiple times over multiple years. I cannot even pretend that I am not just as guilty at this as everyone else. But it is true, always, that if you take the time to step back and spend time with your friends and family, you will re-energize yourself. You will recharge yourself. And to be able to focus on your business and give your business what it needs, you also need to have that family time. One thing I recommend, and one thing that I have to do in my life to make sure that all these things happen, is to schedule everything. Don't just put your business activities on your schedule. Don't just say, hey, these are the business things I have to do this week, and that's all that's in your calendar. Go ahead and schedule that date night with your wife or girlfriend. Go ahead and schedule your kids' baseball games. Go ahead and schedule all that family and friend-oriented activity so that it is on your schedule with the exact same importance as your business. Sure, you may schedule something and not be able to do it, but that's true inside your business as well. So by scheduling your time away from the business, by scheduling time for your friends and family, by making sure that you are calling that out, you're able to maintain a better work-life balance. Will there always be a great work-life balance? Obviously not. You know, if you have a lot of Christmas parties and a lot of holiday parties at your bar in December, okay, you're probably missing a lot of Christmas parties and holiday parties that you would otherwise be going to. But you have to make an effort to schedule that time and to set aside that time for your friends and family. Otherwise, you'll spend way too much time in your business. You'll lose connection with people that matter. And at the end of the day, those connections are way more important than your business would ever be. So make sure to schedule it and balance it, even though we all know sometimes you won't be able to do it. We've talked a lot about what makes for a good personal mindset and ways to develop your life in a way that's going to give you the best personal mindset to be able to run your establishment. But also equally important is your actual business mindset, how you look at business. And there are a few things that I think are absolutely crucial to always keep in mind when it comes to operating your business. First is, a lot of things we look at are facts, right? And most of those are historical facts. How much money you made, who screwed up, what happened on Friday night. All those are facts. And it's very important to remember historical facts are just that. They're real. There's no reason to be emotional about them. Your liquor cost last month may have been 42%, and that may indicate that someone's stealing from you, and you may need to fire that person because of that. But your liquor cost last month, you have no control over. It is a historical fact. You may be able to mitigate what happened in the future, but a fact is just a fact. And where that really comes into play is when you have employees that make bad mistakes, right? When you have someone that drops the $300 case of Patron. you're never getting that case of Patron back. It's gone. It's broken. That is a fact. And to be overly emotional about that fact when it comes to dealing with your employees, when it comes to how you behave in your establishment, just isn't good. And one of the things that's very true in hospitality, and I hate to say this is more seen as being true for chefs, but that is definitely true, is people in hospitality are seen as having hot tempers. People in the bar business in particular are seen as having hot tempers. And it can't be about your temper. By remembering that things in the past are in the past, and they are facts. We cannot change those facts. We cannot edit those facts. They are true and they are real and they did happen. By remembering all of that, we avoid situations where we're pointing the blame at people emotionally. We can blame people factually all day long. You tripped and you dropped that case of Patron. That's a fact. That person did break that case of Patron. But we can't look at it emotionally. We can't go and yell and scream at them because they dropped the case of Patron. There's just no logic there. We're not gaining anything. And so one of the biggest things of a good business mindset is to remember that historical facts are always just historical facts. Second thing I want you guys to think about when it comes to a business mindset is the concept of servant leadership. And you will hear me talk about this over and over and over again. Your job as a leader is to serve and facilitate those under you to do the best work they possibly can do. It is not to bark orders at them. This is not command and control. This is not the military. And the old school hospitality idea of I'm going to bark orders at you and break you down does not work anymore. Especially with younger generations, you're just going to have people quitting on you left and right if you just try to bark orders and yell at people all the time. You have to, as a leader, especially today, in today's world, you have to serve those under you. You have to develop them. You have to help them. You have to give them the tools they need to do the best work they ever have done. And when they tell you they have issues and problems and blockers in the way of doing that work, you need to come back to them with solutions and help them solve it. Yes, they work for you. Obviously, yes, you can tell people what to do that work for you. Obviously, yes, if you tell them that they're going to sell a hamburger, but they want to sell a chicken sandwich, but you're going to sell hamburgers, not chicken sandwiches, yeah, that's your call. But also do what you can to help them be successful. Do what you can to help develop them to help you. And just like we were talking about in personal development and personal mindset with the idea of constant improvement, that is what matters at the restaurant level. That is what matters at the bar level. That is how you keep your business moving in the right direction. But we have to combine constant improvement with servant leadership. It's not up to you what you want to do to constantly improve. Listen to your staff. They're the ones serving your guests. They're the ones dealing with your product. They know what sells and what doesn't. In a lot of ways, your bartenders know what goes on behind your bar better than you do. Your servers on the floor know what's going on there better than you do. Your cooks in the kitchen know what's going on there better than you do. You have to go to these places. You have to watch them. You have to focus on solving the problems they bring to you and constantly improving your establishment. Because with that mindset, with the mindset of being a servant leader and working to constantly improve the environment for your team, you're going to build a culture that's going to knock it out of the park. You are going to develop a business that attracts and retains top quality talent. And we'll dive more into that when we get into culture. But for right now, suffice to say, when it comes to your business, remember that the past is the past, and being a servant leader is important so that you can rely on your team to bring you what you need to know to continuously improve their conditions for them. Right? It absolutely is not about you when you have the right mindset in business. It is about your team. It is about facilitating their success, because I promise you, if you have a team of people that is happy and driven and motivated, a team that wants to come in every day and do the best work of their lives and to go out of their way to serve their customers as best as they can, your pocketbook's going to be full. That will drive revenue. And if you have the right pricing and you have the right concept, which we will talk about next week, you will make money. And it all stems from mindset. Your personal mindset and your business mindset are the only things that can lay the proper foundation to build a concept and a culture that will allow you to run a world-class establishment. So, on that note, we'll wrap it up for this week. Next week, we're going to dig into the concept, the nuts and bolts of the bar business, and what you can do there to set yourself up for world-class success. As always, thank you guys for spending some time with me, and I look forward to talking to you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Bar Business Podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Check out our website at barbusinesspodcast.com and join our Bar Business Nation Facebook group for more strategies and tips.